Today on the podcast, we have some big news for Call of Duty players and also some implications for not just video games, but beyond. Essentially, Call of Duty is now partnering with a company called Modulate to use AI to fight toxicity in voice chat. So while a lot of people are saying this is a great new step in essentially making sure that the voice chats for games like Call of Duty and others are, free from toxic or, biased conversations, a lot of people are also raising red flags around privacy and the rollout of such technologies into other modes of communication that could be stifling to free speech in other areas. So on the podcast, we're going to be diving into all of that in a sizzling episode. But without further ado, let's jump into it. Welcome to the AI Chat Podcast. I'm your host, Jaden Schaefer. Make sure that you go to aibox.ai, link in the show notes, to join the waitlist for our new AI platform. We're going to be launching an incredible platform that allows you to build anything you want with workflows in AI. So you're able to chain together ChatGPT and image generators and audio generators to make really powerful apps for your organization, or you can host them on our marketplace and actually generate royalties from them. So make sure to go to aibox.ai and join the waitlist. In addition, if you like the podcast, if you could do me a massive favor and please leave us a review on Apple or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast. This helps me be able to get better guests on here as they check the reviews to see how you guys are liking it. So if you could please do that, I would really, really appreciate it. Have you ever wanted to start your own podcast? I record and publish podcasts on a platform called Spotify for Podcasters, and I absolutely love it. Essentially, you can upload from your phone or computer, and it distributes to every platform that plays podcasts. They support video podcasts, and you can make money on the platform with ads or even podcast subscriptions, something that has made my life so much easier as a podcaster. So if you're interested, I highly recommend you give it a try. You can download the Spotify for Podcast app or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started on your podcast today. So the headline here is that Activision is taking some fairly concrete steps to address the long-standing issue of toxic conversations within the video chat feature of its popular game, Call of Duty. So this is something that since I was a kid has always been an issue a lot of people took issue with. Was essentially everyone that's jumping on the chat there. There's a lot of immature 11-year-old, 12-year-old boys, 30-year-old guys, girls, all sorts of people saying what would be quote-unquote considered toxic content. So in collaboration with Modulate, the game publisher is aiming to deploy what is called ToxMod. So this is an AI-based voice chat moderation system with the release of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 on November 10th. And the technology is going to, quote-unquote, identify hate speech, discriminatory language, and harassment in real time and deliver immediate penalties. Now, some of those things are good, right? Things though like harassment, well, I know theoretically we do definitely want to eliminate harassment. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of guys that are all playing with their buddies, joking around, quote-unquote, harassing each other, and they're going to get penalized. So I'm sure there'll be some complaints there, and we'll dive into that later. In any case, I think this move adds a new layer to Activision's existing moderation tools, which include text-based filtering across 14 languages and an in-game reporting system where you can report people. Again, a lot of people are going to probably not like that. Michael Vance, who's the CTO at Activision, underlined the significance of this collaboration, stating, quote, "There's no place for disruptive behavior or harassment in games ever. Tackling disruptive voice chat particularly has been an extraordinary challenge across gaming. With this collaboration, we're now bringing Modulate's state-of-the-art machine learning technology that can scale in real time for a global level of enforcement." Well, this partnership could bring a new era of, quote-unquote, trust and safety in gaming. I think it's also worth considering some of the potential downsides. So I would say that there definitely is a fine line between moderation and stifling free speech, which is raising concerns with a lot of people about AI essentially becoming a form of, of thought control. Like you can imagine like T-Mobile or Verizon or some phone company having this kind of technology in there and deciding that something you said on a conversation was considered hate speech or harassment, and, deciding that they're going to deploy this to make it so if you say something bad, it's going to block it. I'm sure a lot of people would not be thrilled to have their conversations edited in real time. Or you can imagine perhaps a more realistic, which is probably already happening today, situation where social media platforms are deeming your words as toxic and therefore deleting your post, banning your account, or just, shadow banning, not showing your content. Now, I know that a lot of people are going to be like, well, that's good, right? Toxic content is bad. It's toxic. Nuclear waste is toxic. Your speech is toxic. Both of those are bad. The problem becomes in judging what is toxic and not toxic, and a lot of people have different beliefs around that. One person's concepts that they think are ideologically good, or even one country's would be considered toxic to another. We know this. There's a lot of people with different ideas, opinions, religions, ideologies, all of it. And so it just is a tricky situation having that. And that's not something new, right? Social media companies have been wrestling with this for a long time. That's their own thing to figure out. But where this is coming into the forefront and is a new wave is now in real-time audio editing. So it's not just like, that person said a mean tweet, or this person said something bad on Facebook, ban their reach. It's like they're speaking in real time. We don't agree with that toxic word, which perhaps could be fine. The problem, I think, is when it becomes ideologies, right? Like you question the government, whether you're conservative or liberal, questioning the opposition government should definitely be a healthy thing done. And if any of this technology gets deployed by governments or other people to censor people's speech live, right? Like imagine if you were on Twitch or you're live streaming on Twitter and Elon decided to censor a liberal's perspective on something because he didn't agree with it, or someone on Twitch decided to censor a conservative's perspective because they didn't agree with it. Definitely would not be appropriate steps. And so I think this is what the big concern is. So an initial beta test for the ToxMod system is going to launch in North America on August 30th within existing games, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and Call of Duty Warzone. This is going to set the stage for a broader rollout, excluding Asia. Interestingly enough, Asia did not make the cut. I'm not sure if that's for language reasons or for, countries like China not allowing them to do this, because maybe China's got their own system going. I don't know. In any case, this is in sync with the upcoming release of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, which initial support will focus on the English language with plans to include additional languages in the future. So, okay, that's interesting. It's only going to be in English, but still they're excluding Asia. Interesting. In any case, Mike Papas, who is the CEO at Modulate, expresses his excitement about the partnership, noting, we're enormously excited to team with Activision to push forward the cutting edge of trust and safety. This is a big step forward in supporting a player community the size and scale of Call of Duty and further reinforces Activision's ongoing commitment to lead in this effort. So Activision's anti-toxicity moderation systems have already flagged, okay, get this. I was pretty blown away when I first read this, but their moderation systems have already flagged over 1 million accounts for violating the Call of Duty Code of Conduct since they introduced it on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. So the company's Ricochet Tech has also been a key player in kind of fighting against cheating in the game and other stuff. But in any case, specifically for their anti-toxicity moderation systems, they've already flagged 1 million accounts. This is so interesting to me. Like, this is 1 million users that are paying them for their product. They've flagged them with immediate penalties, banning their accounts, shutting off their speech availabilities, all sorts of things, right? It's just so interesting. You pay for something, and I guess the reason I bring this up is because it would appear that this is not just like a handful of bad actors. It sounds like the toxicity parameters are set fairly high. If they've got over 1 million people for this, I'd be curious what the penalties are. I'd be curious those people's thoughts on this. That's a lot of people. Like, let's be honest, 1 million people. Anyways, although players can still report disruptive behavior, ToxMod aims to proactively catch violations that may otherwise go unreported. However, it's crucial to consider the broader implications of using AI for this purpose. My thought is, right, like, is this going to be flawless in identifying context, or is it going to stifle authentic conversations? And as AI-powered moderation becomes more, pervasive, is this going to lead to a dystopian reality where our words are continuously judged and penalized, right? It's one thing in a video game, maybe there's a bunch of 12-year-old boys that are cussing, and you want your kid to go be able to play Call of Duty without hearing the other people's toxic comments. Like, maybe that's the one idea. But my concern is, does this move into the real world? Do you want your words, whether that's on social media, a live stream, or your phone call, or on Facebook Messenger call, or on FaceTime, do you want those words to be continuously judged and penalized for what you say? That is like a terribly dystopian outcome that I think we would really want to avoid. So I think for those concerned about privacy, the moderation system can be turned off in the settings apparently, but this doesn't eliminate the overall question, which is, as technology becomes increasingly intertwined with daily life, how much control should we surrender to algorithms for the sake of a, quote, better digital community? That's the question we are asking today.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. That's the sound of switching your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling. Harness the best converting checkout and same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Stop leaving sales on the table. Discover why millions trust Shopify to build, grow, and run their business. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech23.
Thank you for listening to the AI Chat Podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, I'd appreciate it if you rate me wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you're looking for an innovative group of AI enthusiasts, make sure you check out our Discord channel and also our Facebook community. It's obviously a lot more interactive than a podcast where we can actually share software tools, prompts that we're using in everyday AI. I'll leave a link for those in the description below.